This is Listening with Franklin Livingston, and our guest is Tiffany Burk.
So, you talk about school system. You work for a school system, but why
Yes.
did you decide to go in that particular field?
I honestly fell into it.
Mhm.
Um, the boy that I nannied for out of high school, the
After
family
moving from the Midwest to the
to
East Coast
yes,
in Stanford.
I moved to Norwalk to nanny for a family,
Mhm.
and the child was 6 months old when I moved here. Yes, and I actually was with the family for 5 years, which is very uncommon for a nanny. Um, as he grew, he was diagnosed with autism. So the parents worked in New York City, and so I was the one that took him to um, appointments and to school. I was the one that, when he was in public school, I received training on how to interact with him and just help with basic learning. And when the family left and moved to the Midwest, I was offered a job in the school in Norwalk where he had attended.
Mhm.
And I fell in love with working with kids. Um, at that time, it was just kids on the spectrum. And so I worked there for a number of years until I moved back to the Midwest. I was back and forth, back and forth. But then I worked in the school system also when I was back in Iowa,
Mhm.
um, still in special education. And it was because of my years nannying and working with him that I fell into it and absolutely love what I do.
What are the biggest challenges you have faced where a communication or understanding might be lacking between the parents and the child that can make that relationship more functional or healthier?
Um, working working in the school system, unfortunately, as a paraprofessional, we don't have a lot of one-on-one communication with parents. It's more orchestrated through my supervisors and teachers above me. Um, it, more for legality reasons, unfortunately. Um, but when I was nannying in the family that I lived with, you know, they relied on me for every bit of communication from the therapist that, appointments that we went to, the school, and the learning, the teaching that I was receiving. So communication, as we had said before, is huge, because without that, they wouldn't have known how to follow through with um, the things that he and I were experiencing on a daily basis. Other basic communication has been just through writing, just little blurbs. Had a great day. This might have happened, but it also has to be kind of critiqued and looked at by a supervisor. So communication with parents in that setting doesn't happen a lot on my level. So
So, working with a child from very early age with autism helped you become a better mother or a better community member to the kids you saw at church or your friends' kids?
absolutely, giving um, patients understanding um, a lot of learning on how to um, how to address all these different situations um, with children that aren't um, I don't want to that are maybe different than an everyday family and peers.
Children who have some sort of challenge, or because
Right. It has taken it. It has.
because just to be clear that I have on my team, I have a cameraman who has ADHD. I have worked with actors who have ADHD. I have on the top of my head, one editor who have ADHD. I have a guest who taught me the difference between ADD and ADHD. So there are people uh, who have children and adults too who have different challenges, and I think it's okay with that. But not all of us understand it, and we lack awareness. That's why I think it's important to have that understanding. Not everybody functions the same way.
Absolutely. Whether it's being on the spectrum, as you said, having a learning difficulty, a disease. I cared for a young boy who had cerebral palsy. So my scope has been,
Could you elaborate on that? What that is?
I cannot really give the technical terminology of what that is. I'm sorry. He was wheelchair bound, muscle restrictions, a lot of muscle restrictions. I had to assist with feeding and mobility and a lot of different aspects for that particular child. I have worked with kids with behavioral issues, a wide range of ages, and it's all just been fantastic. People do say, I don't know how you do what you do.
It is difficult. It's not easy. Everyone can't do it.
But I don't know any different because I just, it's, I guess, part of who I am. Who,
because that's the way I understand it. That's your call, and it has been your vocation since the age of 18. You were not even 18.
no,
So it is part of your life. It's something very, very profound in your personality, I think. And
I
I
love.
wonder how's your relationship with your kids? Sorry, I interrupted,
No,
but
that's okay. My relationship with
yes,
my daughters, different stages, of course. As a stay-at-home mom, which was difficult at times. I learned that at one point I called myself an angry, yelling, screaming mother. Made changes. I needed medication, which a lot of times is very taboo. A lot of
unfortunately, still is.
Yes, a lot of people do not talk about needing or being or having to be on medications, but it was huge for me. It made me calmer, which is what I wanted. I did not want to be a mom raising children I was just screaming and yelling all the time. Teenage years, difficult. We had some family challenges with one of my daughters, which affected the entire family. But talking through situations and therapy, I needed a lot of therapy in order to work through what was going on and knowing how to best help my child in what they were going through and what was happening. A lot of um, a lot of tears, and then trying to relay that to all of my children, and making sure that they all knew that we all go through things, but it's how we react and how we look at the situation and go through it is key. Um, I learned a lot of that through the moms group that I was in as a young mom here. That was very integral. Teenage years, I'm still in the teenage years. I still have a 16-year-old, and I have a 24-year-old and a 21-year-old. The oldest one now sees why I did things that I did and understands my reasoning and our parenting skills and what we did and why we did them at the time. It's hard for kids to know why you have expectations for different things, why you have rules. So it's coming out. I'm in between. You come out on the other side where your kids are thankful for who you are as a parent, and it all takes, it's growth is what my oldest said. It's growth and time, and I'm always learning. I'm always learning.
I think the person who says I have known everything is a fool. So yeah, we learn everything. I personally say that every day I'm a different person because I keep on adding things. I learn, and sometimes I unlearn. In order to learn, sometimes you have to unlearn, and it's what keeps you going. It's a growing process. You're right.
Yes.
Life itself is a process.
I had a friend once who always said, "I'm in this season," and I could not. She would say it, and I'm like, cringe. I don't like that word. It's a season.
Failure or season. Yeah, people would say that. Yeah.
Growth. I like growth and changing and evolving. Definitely not the person I was when I had my first daughter. Not the person I was when I had my second and third. And I get a lot of guff sometimes on how I parented my older daughter, and she sees I'm not doing the same things with my youngest daughter that I did with her, and so I get some grief on why I'm not treating each other the same. But no, they're not the same. They're, even though they have been raised with two parents, the same two parents in the same household, with the same beliefs instilled in them, the same expectations, but they are so different. And so you can't always stick to the same routine and the same the same expectations for all of them, which is,
and it goes back to the same thing I was saying when we were talking about religion and Christianity. The New Testament, the epistles, so the issues the Apostle Paul is addressing among Corinthians is different than Ephesians, and then it's different than Thessalonians, who are so chill, don't want to work, right? So the same thing that you are preaching, teaching to a community of faith, assuming it's relevant to everybody, it's not a healthy idea. And I think what you said is very profound, that if you had 3 children, and every year, so it's like the world doesn't remain the same. Next year, you have different challenges, different technology, different app, different style, vocabulary. And I don't know, but I'm assuming your 24-year-old speaks different vocab than 60. And
Yes.
so it's not the same. The things that are relevant to them are so different.
And the world that my oldest grew up in is not the same
No.
as what my 16-year-old has gone through.
Right.
So that
And
is a
until you
huge
know how to
influence.
speak to them, they'll struggle in relating to you. And so it's like the incarnated God, bringing theology here again. That when God's incarnation, God coming to you to relate to you at your level. And that's why the theology or the faith or the system, the belief system, the faith system can't be one size fits all.
Absolutely.
And the way that's why these metaphors we see in Christian world, God the Father and the children, or the bride and the groom, revelation, because these are the most intimate relations, and that's what you have, and so this is very powerful that you already have been through that, and you have developed an awareness that it's not that I have to be the same or I have to treat my all my kids the same way because that's not going to work.
No.
Yeah.
Even though they think they all three needed to be treated the same and the same things, but yeah, it can't be that way. With children, with relations, with husband, wife, friends, it's not.
Even husband and wife, like say you were in a marriage, I don't know what you, but say if someone is in a marriage for 10 years, those two people don't remain the same. New
Absolutely
challenges,
not.
new, even health related different, and habits different. Somebody might have like sleeping with a fan on when they got married, and fast forward 5 years, they say, I don't like that. So if you say, honey, you liked it 5 years ago, of course there's a conflict now. Because you're going to get stuck there and fighting that. Why didn't you tell me early on? It sounds funny, but no, we evolve every day. And that's why keeping our ears and eyes open to listen and empathize,
Yes.
that makes us stronger. Stronger friends, stronger parents, stronger children, stronger leaders, stronger congregants, stronger peasants, and I mean, yeah, it's hard thing because every day is a new day. You got to learn, you got to unlearn, and if you're gonna get stuck there, that when we got married, you used to like try wine. Now you don't. Basically, what you're saying is that why do I have to deal with your change? And dealing with change is hard. One of my friends wants to come and schedule his schedule. He wants to talk about change. I can see it's difficult or people fear, but
When
it's important.
when people change, a lot of times I have seen that people give up on each other. And I don't think that's right because we are all changing always,
We just don't
not just
accept,
one or
and when we don't accept, we give up. That's
absolutely. And
and at the end of the day, the person who gives up ends up hurting themselves or destroying themselves
yes,
internally, and it's just like some things. I mean, I always give these stupid or funny and irrelevant examples. And say IRS changes a form. You can't argue there. You'll say, oh my God, I have to do it. You learn it, you do it. But where you have given a little bit of relaxation, you just like, I don't want to. And I think that's what I've seen even in world religions where there's grace and you're like so chilled because you don't have those rules or something has not been imposed on you. And when things are imposed, then you think like, I got it, because there's a fear of it. And should we live by the fear? No, we should live by the faith. But most of us, it's like, just take away this traffic light and then see what happens, right? Because we fear the law. And I think I once said, like, how many of us drive the way we drive because we think that's the right way to do? Or we drive knowing that if I go over speed limit, I'm going to get ticketed. So if you're driving under fear, is that the right thing to do? You think you are stronger, but no, you are a weak person because you are controlled by the fear. The same thing when people change. And I've also seen this. Some people in this couplehood or very close friendship, especially where there's an idea, I mentioned it's a friend or my job, people share only the stuff they think is good or safe to share, and they begin hiding the transformation or the change or even a challenge. For example, if the doctor says you can't drink or eat this thing, right? And if somebody's like, oh, I don't know how my husband is going to react, maybe I shouldn't tell him, right? So you constantly are living with that fear, which is going to hurt you, affect you, make you weaker, you'll develop anxiety and God knows what. It's better to share. And if the next person is not strong enough to understand and empathize, listen, then we got to question his or her ability to be a functional human being.
I experience that often with sharing things that are difficult in my life with my friends. And a lot of times they say to me, why didn't you tell us sooner? Why didn't you tell us that? And it is because of my own fear of maybe them not looking at me the same or making judgments, or it is my own fear. And I'm learning and growing that I need to trust in them with what I share isn't going to be judged. And if it is, as I said, maybe I need to look at who those friends are. Unfortunately, I haven't had to do that a lot recently, thank God. But there have been times where I have had to look at friendships, and it's as difficult as it is, had to let things go because it is not healthy for me, my family, and it's hard. Like, the change is hard when you have someone in your life for so long to let go of that. But for me,
But if it's an unhealthy and unempathetic goal, like that particular object, or sometimes it could be an object too. It could be an object, it could be a human being, it could be an animal. So, but when that thing goes away from you, I think you return stronger, wiser, and more confident.
yes,
There might be a little bit of period where you're like, oh, what do I do and all that. I mean, well, I go through that. We all humans go through that. But when the emotion settles down and your brain kicks in, so when the balance of wisdom versus emotionality takes place, the storm calms down. Then you become, well, oh, I'm better, I'm stronger, I'm wise. I can tell you now what to do.
We are very emotional beings.
We just hide it because that's the thing. Culturally, we are not allowed, the way I understand the culture, to express our emotions.
A lot of times, no.
And that's the thing that we decided, or we just think, oh, no, nothing affects me. I'm okay. And because, see, the culture we live in, hey, how you doing? What's the answer? Good. You can say, I really feel shitty. You can't. Right?
Yes.
People say, oh, you are a drama queen. And especially, and that's side to women, but that's the thing. That's the assumption. If you're going to do like open up, the people will label you.
Right. I have come to a point a few years back, that same exact point. Why do we, when we ask someone how you are, why is our automatic response, I'm good? Why can't we be honest with one another? There are times that I have been honest with people. I'm like, I am not good, because it I don't like that. That is a society, our automatic answer is I'm good, for fear of being the drama queen.
Because that's the norm. So see who sets the norm. As we were talking about the churches when it started, all smaller communities, then versus now, there was social media, and especially the places you only can post pictures. What is dating online? So these pictures, you gotta like show yourself in the best mood, in the excellent outfit, and in the most privileged environment. And then people say, and then you would hear these things like people have these fake airplanes taking selfies and all that, because you are taught, fed in your mind, that's the norm.
Right.
And the moment you'll say, oh God, I shitty life and all that, people will disappoint you. I mentioned this story before. It's not a story, real life. I was living in the city. I was making short film with a couple of students, seniors from base, and filmmakers. And one of my collaborators was sick. She had something going on with her mind that required surgery. I forgot the age. She might be 22 then, and wasn't able to afford fully whatever the expense was. Although she was, again, like with people that she was studying in a fancy school, and people were like, "Oh, you guys have money and all that." And then in same class or program, I totally forgot, there was another young woman of the same age range, and they both actually worked with me in different projects, and a couple of projects they both were part of that. And I asked person A, how's the other person doing? Assuming they're very close, they're class fellows, they both are girls and all that. And the answer I got was, oh, he's left her on her own. She's dealing with a lot, and she has to do a lot of things right now, so I don't know. Now, that's the culture, the dominant culture, or the norm, telling me, yeah, that if somebody's going through that kind of crazy, complex medical health related stuff, you just leave them. Let them figure that out. Same thing, people say that, oh, yeah, she's going through a breakup right now, so just kind of like giving her space so she could figure it out.
Yes.
That's the culture. The predominant culture, the pop culture, the term. Now, if you are from a Christian worldview, Christian background, you follow Christian principles, if you're not those entitled Christians who say we are Christians, if someone who really practices, then your role might be very different. Then you got to go back and read, if you haven't read, what does my faith tell me? What are the teachings of my faith? And if my teachings start with love your neighbor, then should I begin questioning, Jesus, who is my neighbor? Or I already know who's my neighbor, because every church I went to has a sermon on that. Now, the question is, I'm going to be the guy, the first guy, the priest guy, or Levite, or the third guy, right? And that's something, that's your decision. So the popular norm culture is also there. your faith-based tradition, values, and belief system is also there, but you gotta, you're the one who got a big one. No one can force on you what you said. So both things have been made clear to you. Uh, the only thing which I expect and hope is that this part where people are taught to be good Samaritan and what good people is maybe a little bit fueled up, so people could remember, oh, what does that mean? Because I think popular culture is influencing people more than the faith-based communities.
Check on one another is something, that I've been doing or
You know
trying.
what happens? How this came to my mind later. Sometimes, in my case, so if I'm wanting to do something, can't really decide, I will sit with a friend and just share.
Yes.
And there's something in this human to human connection that your confusion and resolution will become better or clearer to you. So, if someone is going through that kind of difficult time with a brain surgery and all that, I think she had a tumor. It's not that you can fund her or take her to a hospital. Maybe just talk. You may tell because this uh, female who went through that, I think she was also considering uh, traveling to Canada to get a procedure done. And I don't really understand like why, because I'm assuming she was on her parents' insurance. I only know one thing. I got this, when you have a sinusitis, so they do a nasal thing, they do a
Yes.
little thing. I got that done in Iowa. And my insurance was one of the finest. And I thought, oh, it's going to cover because I also had deductible that I had to pay and all. And then I got a bill for $700 or 750. And I inquired what's this, and it was like, oh, the thing they make you lay down before they do that. I don't know what trait I think, whatever term they use. So, okay, I mean, if he 750 was a big deal, 1050 was, and so that's why I don't understand fully what was stopping her, this person, to get her surgery done in the U.S. But she was not able to. She was really struggling and stressed out. And she had some support group because I think she had a fiance or boyfriend at that point. Uh, but still, sometimes another human being's physical presence in listening, sharing, I mean, makes a huge difference.
Yes. That's for sure.
Which is not something we learn through social media or popular culture.
No.
I have a question about your vehicle. So you have decorated it very differently,
Yes.
and which is also very uncommon in the U.S. because in the U.S. people try to stick to very simple style. And I've seen actually, I saw one cab in South Korea. Oh my God, like that dude had almost everything, including a Batman and I don't know what other things in his car. And but it's not very common in the US. So is there a specific reason you decorated it that way? And is there a particular connection you find with those things that are in the Jeep?
My husband says that Jeep owners, Jeep, this model in particular, it's a cult.
It is.
That
Sorry.
we're
I wasn't sure we
we're-
should talk about vehicle brands, but
sorry. This particular one is associated with exchanging rubber ducks. So it's basically like a compliment to another owner that I like what you're driving. It's
Okay.
like mine. We're similar. It's called ducking. You duck each other. And so you keep them and you display them. And you also carry your own ducks.
So wait, other people might have done the same kind of thing too. So it's
Okay.
kind of signaling each other.
Yes.
Okay, so I know particular makeup of the people who drive these brands, right? And so now I will also make a note of that because the kind of Jeep, the kind of
Vehicle that I have.
vehicle I drive, for example, the same style is more like open and which has nothing in it. It's not that covered at all.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it's for a style, not for a not style fun. Not
Recreational.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's like last time when your friend was on the show, and I don't know how we got into this. She's a motorcyclist, and I have a motorcycle too.
yes.
And I said, no, but that's different than this because yours is like this or like this, and mine is like this. And I think she got an idea. So then later on, I haven't showed her all the pictures. But yeah, I would love
So my model
for
is
me to know more.
is the one that are the crazy Jeep people, according to my husband. And it's like I said, it's just a more of a compliment to that model of vehicle. And like I said, I carry them around.
But it's not like you have a secret meeting where all these Jeep owners meet and
There are-
decide the future
there,
of.
there are lots of clubs that
Okay.
yes, I belong to, and I have gone to.
Because of the vehicle?
Yes,
Oh, wow. Is it a
Yes.
thing for real?
it is.
Oh, okay. Wow. So can I join that too or no? Or what do I have to show? Like my title?
It depends
page?
on what model you have.
I usually, okay, the vehicles I have, I'm also thinking, and it's going crazy actually now. I'm thinking of not removing, but adding a logo on one of my vehicles. So and I don't know if the companies allow that.
I have
But-
lots of different logos on mine.
Okay.
Yes.
I can do that.
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So it's like its own thing.
It absolutely is.
So okay, great. So I'm not the only crazy one because I ordered a couple of things, and so the white vehicle you saw, it's gonna look slightly different from the front.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay,
No.
I wasn't sure. Like, okay, will somebody report to the manufacturer and say that hey, this dude changed the thing?
Absolutely not.
Not okay.
Nope. Nope. Actually, when I went into the dealership this is my second one of this vehicle, I was told by the salesperson that there is a wave that when you're driving these certain models, when you're driving, you do the Jeep wave. And it's just the two fingers, you wave it at each other. And if you don't, it's like, oh,
So, but here's the thing. Let's say I am driving a different brand.
yes.
Can I do the same?
No.
Okay. Also, I have to
Like I said,
belong to
it's-
your cult. Oh, great! All right. Okay.
That's why my husband said we're part of a crazy.
Okay. So I shouldn't try to like. What do you want, bro? Okay.
Right. But in Iowa, it's totally everybody waves to
Well,
everybody.
in Iowa, you can't even like stop at a stop sign and begin talking to a farmer. I might have done that. There was a guy with a nice truck, and he was like, "Yeah, I met a German," and it was an elderly man. His wife was German, like with an accent, not like I should say German immigrant.
Okay. Yes.
And so yeah, and then he began telling me about his potatoes and all that. It was not the major highway. It was like a very probably small town. So yeah, in Iowa you can do a lot
A lot
of things.
things are different than
Yeah,
they are here.
and what else can you do different? But one thing, like one thing I noticed, especially the older generation, they would always tell their denomination, and I think they use the term religion. They don't say denomination. This is what they'll say. I'm a Presbyterian, but I'm married an Episcopalian, and to me it was like, I don't know. Okay, so what, right? To me it was irrelevant, but maybe it meant something for them because of the history of the tension of this Ireland, England, there
Right.
might be something.
Possibly yes.
And same thing like this dude. Now as I'm thinking, who told me he married a German. Maybe it meant something to me. To me, okay, you have a wife with you. That's it, right?
Right.
But for him, maybe it was important. Right?
To tell where
Because I learned in Iowa,
she was from.
yeah, that some people married Japanese after Burk forward
Okay.
just to develop that peace.
Okay.
And so maybe there was actually a motorcycle. You know, there are motorcycle clubs too. People
Yes.
who
Oh,
don't
yes.
look like me. They have different motorcycles
Yes.
also. So their motorcycles are not like this. And I remember a gentleman who shared proudly that he married a woman from Vietnam. Uh, he was in Navy there. It's like I saw this girl, and I was about to board my ship, and I said, "Hey, you want to marry?" She said, "Yes." And I brought her. So I think there's an idea of the peace or love, because people who were veterans there who fought in the Vietnam War, well, they were very interesting. They were more open and welcoming and embracing, more of a pacifist. I don't know if I should use that term, but that generation was very different.
That's interesting.
Unless I'm wrong, but even somebody said to me who was then maybe 50s that this generation is um, very considerate, very warm, not rushed and all that.
Okay.
I think millennial generation. The problem with millennials, I think, was they got stuck in this. Like you had to go to grad school to show your grade and all that, and then we ran into these student loans, and then we realized careers are not working because kids are creating their own careers. There's a career with the digital stuff that we did not fully understand.
Yes.
So I think our generation just somewhere got confused. Where do we belong? And then with money too. Because that idea of that you become a lawyer and then you have a lot of money. And then the idea was that people are printing out their own forms and filling it out. They don't need lawyers the way they
anymore.
used to, right? And I remember there was, I think, I forgot what university, a lot of law students sued it that we're not making enough money to pay our student loans.
Correct.
So,
I have run into that with my children,
mhm.
and kids their age who are struggling with $200,000 worth of debt out of college, and it goes back to, now how do I get married? How do I have my own home? And a lot of them as well don't even go into the profession that they went to
Mhm.
college for.
Mhm.
Which is so difficult.
Because the jobs shifted. I remember someone said to me, their daughter, who might be in early 30s, like went and this lady mentioned that there was a trend that every second girl, first of all, was named Emily. And then every second girl became a speech pathologist. And then the trend changed. And nowadays people use apps and all that. And speech pathology is not the way accent reduction and all. So all these women, mostly Anglo-Saxon women who have this master's in speech pathology, don't have a lot of job opportunities. So this trend, I was like, okay, how does this trend develop? I was like, I don't know. She was like, I don't know, but she did say that this is a family, a couple I knew in they live Upper West Side, and they were privileged, so they made their daughter study the best thing possible, and the trend was to do masters in speech pathology.
Wow.
And then it doesn't really work.
Hasn't gotten her through to retirement.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah. See, that was also a trend that you will have this grad degree and then you retire with that degree
Right.
in that profession. And it's all changed, I think. Especially the past 5 years have been very different.
One thing that I see in regards to education is the trades
Hmm.
are like a dying thing, but we need those people. And sometimes they're looked down upon. The blue collar, you know, get your hands dirty.
Yeah,
Um, but
unsophisticated. Yeah.
right, but we still need. My daughter's a dental assistant. People are going to need to have their teeth worked on. You're going to need people to fix your air conditioning. You're going to need people to work on your cars. We still need those hands-on people, but the stigma associated with a lot of those jobs is
Whenever I went to a hospital, I always wish one thing, and I saw some change, and I don't know it's because they are paying now higher salaries or what, and because there were a lot of nurses or doctors who became, they use the term influencer. All they do is like sit on a phone camera or show
oh,
their pretty face or outfits, and they made a lot of money because initially social media made you a star and then you had sponsors or however you become, especially it's easy for females, I think. Around the world, I've noticed that if you're female and if you begin showing your pictures or videos, right away you have following. For men, now it can take years. It's almost impossible. In unless you're a sports star or
okay.
like people, oh my god, I love football. So the real job, like who are real heroes, nurses, and it's a nursing work, dental, or mechanics, your car breakdown.
Teachers.
And yeah, teachers definitely building the community up. Those professions were being considered boring or like these people. I still remember a nurse who became some sort of influencer and was like, oh, I used to work a 12-hour shift and I didn't want to do it, so let me tell you how to do this. The In a long run, I don't know if they'll find that peace and gratification. uh yeah, they can become dysfunctional by adding like fake things to alcohol or whatever and pretend they are functional. But I saw recently there are a lot of people who are joining these professions. That, I'm going to call entry level jobs. Like it's not that they're going direct MD or DO,
Right.
starting with some sort of X-ray technician or somebody who checks your pulse and intake RN.
Right.
But those are the jobs in a long run will keep you mentally healthy and well connected with other humans and gratification. So I wish the world could, when there's an extreme wave of something, which we have had with the social media and all that. I wish that there's a some sort of balance now where people could see. I I mean I can't really get stuck with social media for that long period of time. You get bored.
Right.
And what gives me energy in the end of the day is a real human connection.
And that's why I do what I do. I've told my children, even if it's not the highest paying job, the with the most accreditation, whatever, it means a lot that you're working in something that you feel good about and makes you happy, that you're giving back, that you're happy in, whether you're working at a convenience store and that makes you happy, just interacting with people who come in and out, as long as being happy in what you do goes a long way, rather than having this prestigious job title. Because I don't know if I have a prestigious job title, but I love what I do. And it means a lot in my entire life. If I go home and I'm in a good mood and I'm happy, coming from a job that I'm fulfilled in, that resonates to my husband and it resonates to my children and my friends. Someone comes home miserable every day, that resonates into every aspect of your life. So, job wise, to me, something that you love and that you're passionate about is much more meaningful than a title and a degree and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt that you can't now get out of. So,
Tiffany, it's been a pleasure having you here, engaging in a meaningful conversation, getting to know you, your contribution, and toward better community, better future, better.
I hope so. Thank you.
And I would love to have you again. We continue having some great conversations, and next time, yeah, we'll film inside your Jeep too. But today, I really want to see the Jeep and show you guys the decorations on the Jeep. Maybe those Jeep freaks, you call them. You guys probably know this, but it was new for me, all those decorations. So,
All right, here
yeah.
we go.
All right.
Jeep girl.